આરાધનનું મૂળ જસ આત્મભાવ છે, જેને ન પદ છે આત્મા, ન પદમાં હે એ. Dharam is Navpad, and Navpad is Dharam. So today is the seventh day of Navpadodi. બધા તપસ્વીઓ શાતામાં હશો. સમ્યક જ્ઞાન ભવ્ય નમો ગુણ જ્ઞાનને સ્વપર પ્રકાશક ભાવેજી હર જાએ ધર્મ અનંતતા ભેદા ભેદ સ્વભાવોજી જે મુખ્ય પરિણતિ સકલ જ્ઞાયક બોધ ભાવ વિલક્ષણ મત્યાદિ પંચ પ્રકાર નિર્મળ સિદ્ધિ સાધન લંછન સ્યાદ્વાદ સંગી તત્વરંગી પ્રથમ ભેદા ભેદતા સવિકલ્પને અવિકલ્પ વસ્તુ सकल संशय छेदता वाला सकल संशय छेदता. सम्यक ज्ञान. So everybody knows Jnana is knowledge. We all, most of us came to US for knowledge. I think most of us value knowledge is the way to make progress in life. So, ઢાળનો તો straightforward છે, more or less. Okay, knowledge, swapar prakashak is an adjective given to it's the swabhav of knowledge, swapar prakashak, and bheda bhed will come in the next one too. So first thing is everybody has knowledge. So what distinguishes Jnana from Jnana? Jnana that we are interested in, Jnana that Bhagwan wants us to be interested in, that Gurus wants us to be interested in.
It's માહિતી જ્ઞાન versus આત્માનું જ્ઞાન.
હા, બરાબર છે. So that's why we put a qualifier around the Jnana.
Samyak.
Make it, call it Samyak Gyaan. So until જ્યાં સુધી સમ્યક દર્શન નહીં થાય ત્યાં સુધી જ્ઞાન પણ સમ્યક થતું નથી. And the minute, the instant of time when darshan becomes samyak, jnana becomes samyak too. So that itself shows that ultimately the jnana that is most valuable is the jnana of self, atma jnana, literally jnana of self, atma jnana. That is what is the that is the goal. And the age that Jnana all eventually culminates into fully pure Jnana, which is the fifth type of Jnana, Keval Jnana. But until, I think Puja Nidhalma is probably some similar line like that. Until the drashti becomes nirmal, until the drashti becomes samyak, no matter how much knowledge, and now here we are not even talking about the worldly or mundane knowledge, the knowledge that people would get PhDs after getting those, but even Shastra Abhyas, and so much so that even all the 11 Agams, first Purva, second Purva, third Purva, fourth Purva, fifth Purva, sixth Purva, seventh Purva, eighth Purva, ninth Purva. So till then, somebody can reach that level of knowledge, which is like immense knowledge. They have, in terms of percentages, probably like 14 Purva Mati, they know almost a little bit more than 9 Purvas. It's a lot. But even for them, until only in the presence of Samyak Darshan, the knowledge becomes Samyak Gyaan. Otherwise, it is all Agnan, Mati Agnan. So that also gives us a nice tip, in the sense that there is a lot of knowledge, quote unquote, available now with the advent of YouTube and with social medias, and even like all the e-libraries. So the question that becomes for us is like, what kind of knowledge we want, right? So the distinction is between Panditya versus Sadhak perspective. So we don't want Gyan for Gyan's sake. We want that Gyan that can take us further in our sadhana. So again, the sadhya part, goal part is very important. So Gyan is a powerful, very, very powerful weapon. And like all weapons, it can be used properly or it can be misused. And so far, it's not like we didn't have Gyan, but we didn't use Gyan for the right goals.
I have a question. Even though like we've gone through this several times and we read about it, I still have some very basic question. Without Gnan, we cannot make our darshan samyak, right? So how does that work? Like you said the opposite. You said that our darshan needs to be samyak and then our Gnan becomes samyak. But without Gnan, how would our darshan become samyak?
નેહાબેન's
Right.
question is very valid. આજનું જ્ઞાન પદના સ્તવનમાં પણ એ જ આવ્યું હતું, પ્રથમ જ્ઞાન અને પછી અહિંસા. અને બીજી એક સેન્ટેન્સમાં એવું પણ હતું કે જ્ઞાન હશે તો પછી એનો શ્રદ્ધા સ્ટ્રોંગ થશે. I don't recall the exact line, but prathama jnana and pachi ahimsa. So what Nehaben is asking is very valid question.
I can probably recall. Sakal kriya no mood
Je shraddha. Eh hanu mood te kahiye re. Barabar.
So yeah, it's somewhat obvious, I would say, in the sense that so mati jnana that we have, we want to use it with the goal of purifying our darshan, with the goal of getting atma jnana, with the goal of getting darshan. So it's not like we don't have to wait until it becomes samyak. So when we are moving in that direction, so the knowledge that whatever knowledge we are gaining, whatever knowledge that we have gained, whatever knowledge we are gaining, as long as the goal is to purify ourselves, to remove the mithyatva, the delusions within us, then it need not be like, so it will, Samyak Gyaan will be the result, but the Gyaan that we have, and that's why here also a very nice thing is kind of coming out, in the sense that, therefore, a lot of emphasis on taking Gyan from Guru. So our Gyan is obviously not Samyak, our Gyan is incomplete, but in the presence of a Guru, and in fact, most of the Eastern philosophies, Indian philosophies go even further and says that Guru apete Gyan. So that's how we can use, and that's what we want to use. So even when we are studying anything about Dharma, we don't want to just know कि भाई these are the 9 tattvas, these are the 6 dravyas, these are the 8 karmas, these are the subtypes of karmas, these are the duration, 70 koda kodi, 40 koda kodi. All that is not for knowledge sake or information for information's sake, but how to use it. That should be our goal. And in fact, I am also guilty of it, but the thought comes, best technique would be, after each swadhyaya, we spend almost an hour. One should ask the question, what is it that I have one takeaway point that can help us in the sadhana? So that way we can make sure that we are targeting Gyan towards sadhya and not just becoming satisfied with getting to know more. And we are, unfortunately, in such times where it's very easy to get the English, I don't know how we'll state it, but apacho, the mal effect, indigestion, okay, mal effect of Gyan, which is nothing but, what is the, if Gyan is not used properly, what is the negative part, or what it can lead to?
Ego.
Abhiman.
Ahankar.
Right.
Tap, if not done properly, samyagrite, can lead to krodh. Similarly, Gyan, when not doesn't have the right goal, right sadhya, then 99.9% it just leads to boosting one's ego. Okay, I know so much, and therefore I am better off than other Jains. So, our first sentence માં લખ્યું છે, જ્ઞાન, the main nature of જ્ઞાન ગુણ of Atma is to illuminate all substances, sakala gnyayak. Parnimathi pan, the one that we are interested in is the swaprakashak part of the Gyan. Parprakashak is a byproduct. And we can, unless we become Tirthankar, then we don't need to worry about the Parprakashak part. So Prakashak is enough for us.
The reason to take to obtain Gnan from Guru is lot. There are so many things that cannot be written, right? Like they are unspoken, they are between the lines, or they are within experience, and several connections too are at experience level. So those things won't be in any book.
Yeah. बराबर છે. And even furthermore, like even the Jahir Pravachan or Jahir Vachnas are also not targeted. So even they don't go all the way. So therefore, it has to be like Guru would know where I am, and based on where I am and what's the next step for me, they would give. Right? Like
Guidance.
so much information is available on internet, and now with the AI, chat GPT and everything, Copilot, one can just put in the symptoms and it can probably give us the prescription. So there's no need to go to the doctor, but that's not what we do. So similarly, it's kind of same analogy. Okay, Guru would know where we are. Books that is like applicable to everybody, but we need personalized, individualistic, specifically for me, so that Guru can give. And also it helps, that goes a long way to keep Abhiman in check. And like our Samachari that we have is amazing. આપણી જે વ્યવહાર વ્યવસ્થા કે like even Gachadipati also would write their faults and get prayashit from another Gachadipati or another Acharya. So that keeps everybody in check and balance. So લખ્યું છે નિશ્ચય નિશ્ચયથી Gnan is to let us know ourselves, and from Weber, the nature of Gnan is to. And there are 5 types of knowledge: so Mati, Shrut, Avdi, Manaparya, and Keval. So we want to use the Mati Gnan is the one that everyone has, all living beings have. So that Mati Gnan, we want to convert it into Keval Gnan. And we want to, so a convert karva mate, the avlamban is of Shrutagnan. Shrutagnan is very, very important, because without Shrutagnan, it's not possible to. So, आम જોઈએ તો Mati Gnan has Keval Gnan hidden below it.
Within it, yeah.
So the only thing we need to do is remove the impurities and make the Gnan nirmal. So mal કોનું છે? Nirmal is without mal, and mal is of
કર્મ.
Gnan.
specifically mal is of darshan mohaniya or charit, or in general mohaniya, or a specific mithyatva. Mohaniya
Brahmana.
karma is the one that is dirtying us. So it makes even our knowledge, it makes all our qualities, basically it dirties all our qualities, including Gnan. So જેમ જેમ એ નીકળતું જશે તેમ તેમ જ્ઞાન સમ્યક તત્વ જશે. And that's what our goal is. So, અને અવધિ and મનપર્યાય are just two paryayas, two states of Gyan. They are not useful for sadhak as such. So Avdi Gyan is very, in some sense, it's interesting that Avdi Gyan, the Devs and the Narkis are born with Avdi Gyan. So that is the type of it's a benefit, quote unquote, perk of being born as a Dev, or for Narkis actually it becomes a curse instead of a blessing. Because of Avdi Gyan, even before they are going to be tortured, they know that, hey, I'm going to be tortured, and therefore the pain increases even more. And Manaparya Gyan can be useful for us if we were to go to the higher devloks. So, especially in the above Vaimanic. For some reason, I'm missing the name. The 5 devlok, which Sarvar Siddhi is the final. So, when Venyakarami સાંભળજો તમે સંયમ રાગે
ઉપશમ શ્રેણી ચડિયા રે.
પછી એમાં બોલો દેવલોકનું નામ નથી આવતું?
હા, સર્વારથ સિદ્ધ જ આવતું હશે.
હા, એ ફાઇનલ છે, પણ સો
અનુત્તર દેવલોક.
બરાબર, અનુત્તર. થેન્ક યુ. સો વૈમાનિક, પછી ગ્રેવેક અને પછી અનુત્તર. તો 5 અનુત્તર છે, અને એમાં સર્વાર સિદ્ધિ ઇઝ ધ હાઈએસ્ટ ઓફ ધ 5th, where the lifespan is 33 sagropam. તો અનુત્તર દેવલોકમાંથી, so અનુત્તર દેવલોકમાં people, the atmas there are ekavtari or bebhav or tribhav, so they are very close to moksha. And for such a long lifespan, what do? So they do swadhyay, and when they have a question, they send it to Tirthankar Bhagwan, and Tirthankar Bhagwan uses their mind to create the mind waves and send it back the answer to those devs. So, એક જ્ઞાનનો પ્રકાર છે. But other than that, Manaparyav is a jnana that all Tirthankar Bhagwan get when we do the Karemi Bhante, when they take the Diksha in their final bhav. But interestingly, they don't use that. So they don't even use Avdi Gyan, they don't use even Manaparyav Gyan, they don't use Avdi Gyan, some exceptions. But after taking Diksha, they don't use any of those two. And Keval Gyan they use for our benefit.
When the count of Shishyas is given, Kalpasutra ma ke a Bhagwan atla Shishyo, there is also a mention of how many Manaparayani. So it's not just Tirthankar.
No. So Manaparyav Gyan is a higher form of Sayyam. It's basically a labdhi, type of labdhi, that extremely refined Sayyami. Only Mahatmas can have Manaparyav Gyan. Shravak Shravika cannot get Manaparyav Gyan. But they can get Avdi Gyan. So yeah, therefore, like one can say, atla Shravak, atla Shravika, atla Manaparya Gnani.
So Mati Gnan converts into finally complete Vishuddhi, then it becomes Keval Gnan. What about Shrut or the Manapar? They are tied to any specific Gnan, or it's they are tied.
Like I said, so Avdi Gnan is Bhav Pratyek in the sense that Devs and Narki can get it too. So it's not really, I mean, in some sense, it is connected with the Sayopsham of that Avdi Gnana Varnya karma, but that Sayopsham is only for that duration. So, like, they would bind that karma again, and after in the next bhav, after the bhav of Dev, if they are born as a human being, or if they are born, they would as a Tiryansh, they would lose it. Shrutagnan is the Gnan that comes in the category of Dev and Guru. So Tirthankar Bhagwan, whatever Tirthankar Bhagwan gave in Deshna is Shrutagnan. Whatever Guru Bhagwan gave us is Shrutagnan. Gandhars composed the Agam, that is all Shrutagnan. The Shrutagnan is the most powerful instrument that we have in order to clean our Mati Gnan. So cleansing of Mati Gnan is with the Alamban of Shrutagnan, and then that would lead to the goal is to reach Keval Gnan, but intermediate, if Avdi Gnan manifests, then that's fine. Manaparya Gnan manifests, then that's fine. But they don't, as far as I know, there is no certain Gunsthanak or anything associated with Avdi and Manaparya. It's just a refined.
Charam Sharir.
I'm not sure about Charam Sariri. Bani Shake, maybe, possible, yeah. But it's like they don't need to be necessarily on like 6 Gunsthanak, I believe. So they have to be sadhu. So they can be so on 6 Gunsthanak you can get Manaparya.
Rakesh, wait, Manaparya Gnan Gandhar Prabhu gets or all the Sanyami? I think only Tirthankar and Gandhar gets the Manaparya.
Gandhar Bhagwant Mate, as far as I know, they get Avdi Gnan, but not Manaparya. But I can check and confirm.
કલ્પસૂત્રમાં છે ને દરેક તીર્થંકરના કેટલા પર્યજ્ઞાની સાધુઓ છે એનું કાઉન્ટ આવે છે તો that's much higher.
Yeah, other Mahatmas can get. It's basically Charitrani Vishuddhi is connected with Manaparya. So if you have yeah, it's not necessary only Gandhar Bhagwans would have it. And actually, to my knowledge, Gandhar Bhagwans Char Jnana Dhani kahiye chhe, right? So maybe you are right. I'll have to confirm that.
I mean, that's what we hear about Gautam Swami all the time. So,
But this is the beauty is that they don't use that, right?
right.
So Gautam Swami Bhagwan Manaparya Gnan use કર્યું એવું કઈક એક્ઝામ્પલ આવતું નથી.
નથી આવતું.
In fact, એમની લબ્ધિઓ પણ અનંત લબ્ધિ બનાય આપણે કહીએ છીએ, પણ he used his labdhi like 2 or 3 times.
For other people.
And a also for the benefit of others. So ola 1500 tapas માટે he used the labdhi and they got Keval Gnan.
Right.
So yeah, that also is another side part of Gnan. Whatever Gnan we have, we can use it for the benefit of others without any pride associated with it. પછી એમાં એમને સ્યાદવાદ is one of Pujya Paji's favorite words. So And actually, it also is very fundamental to our darshan, to our sashan. So Syadvad Sangi, so Gnan is always Syadvad because Gnan is illuminating the true nature and the nature of Dravya, as we mentioned before, is such ke a Ananta Dharmatmak. So each Dravya has infinite qualities to them, and therefore one has to use Syadvad if one has to describe it, or one has to use Anekantvad when one has to think about it, because there are infinite aspects to anything. So we always have to use the art of Syadvad. And that's another, we can say another characteristic of Samyak Gyaan would be when applied with Syadvad, it will lead to Samatva Bhav. So that's why Syadvad is important. Because Syadvad can help us to stay in Samta. Then Tatvarangi એમને લખ્યું છે. So basically, yeah, જેમ જ્ઞાન સમ્યક જ્ઞાન વધશે તેમ તત્વની રુચિ વધશે, તત્વ ગમશે, તત્વને વધારે develop. So tattva can be taken as tattva is Atma, but whatever helps purifying the Atma. So by extension, all the Nav Tattva.
પ્રથમ ભેદાભેદ છે. પ્રથમ વાર ભેદાભેદ થાય છે એટલે ગ્રંથિભેદ.
No. So Gnan has both. There is a Bhed quality of Gnan, and then there is a Bhed quality of Gnan. So Bhed is basically where we are discriminating, and Abhed is where. So first we learn to discriminate, and then we learn to synthesize.
Okay, so પ્રથમ goes with the ભેદ.
So, like the question that you had asked earlier. So initially, our Gnan, we want to use Bhed Gnan to get to Samyak Gyaan. And once we get Samyak Gyaan, then we truly experience everybody else as same as us. So અત્યારે ઉપચારથી we can say કે બધા જીવોમાં એ જ આત્મા છે જે મારામાં છે. પણ Samkiti is the one that truly sees that in others at an experiential level. So a abhedta. And for us, we have to use the instrument of mind in order to tap into the knowledge, or otherwise it will be knowledge at the instinct level. So asangni jivo, their mati gnan is at the instinct level. Sangni jiv will have the vikalps. So that's the mental part, the mind part. And Kevali Bhagwans, they don't have to use their mind. So બધા પદાર્થો are illuminating in their જ્ઞાનમાં ઝળકે છે. And they don't have to use their upyog, they don't have to use, they just, it's the quality of Gnan, the nirvikalp quality of Gnan that they can know without putting any effort, the way we understand effort, like without focusing, without concentrating. So અનજ્ઞાનથી સકલ સંશય છેદાય છે. તો Any questions on this? So the other part we can maybe take a little bit more is what is the જ્ઞાનમાં આ જે સ્વપર નો ભેદ જે છે. So જ્ઞાન જે વિભાજન કરે છે, હા, ભેદ અભેદ, there was a word. No, પણ ભેદ અભેદ છે. Okay. So આ જે વિભાજન is basically the difference between the two things, discrimination. So we give the word, Vivek is a synonym of Gyan. Vivek is a synonym of Samyak Gyaan when we differentiate between Swa and Per. So that's why Gyan is very helpful in order to get rid of Mithyatva, because we have to distinguish between Swa and Per. That practice is called as Ved Gyan. And what happens right now is it's not like we are not distinguishing, but as Sahibji mentions in this snippet, we are distinguishing between Per and Per. So what we have done in the presence of Mithyatva is certain Per we have labeled as Swa. So that is our delusion, that is our false belief. And pachi those Per we are distinguishing from other Per. Maybe I can read this.
Now you should give an example, કારણ કે આ complicated થયું.
No, actually nothing complicated. So for example,
Yeah.
the body. Body is a Per. I consider this is my body. So ene hu Swa manu chu, and then I can distinguish this body, my body, from other people's bodies. Or this is my house, and I distinguish it from other people's house. તો એ રીતે પણ જે ભેદ કરવાનું છે એ પર ને પરમાં નથી કરવાનું, right? So what I have done is I have created a discrimination between Per and Per, because body is not me, house is not me, my bank balance is not me, my relatives are not me, and so on. તો એ બધામાં આપણે like આ મારા છે, આ મારા my mother-in-law is very fond of this thing, Panjo. I think that's a very favorite word, Kutchi word. Okay, like anybody that's from Kutch, they consider these are ours. તો આ ભેદ એવી રીતે કર્યું, or અથવા આપણે એ પણ કરીએ, right, કે આ આપણા ઇન્ડિયાના છે અને these are from Pakistan or some other countries. આ બધું પર ને પરમાં ભેદ કર્યું છે, અને એના all that does, it creates rag and dvesh. So per ne per no bhed will create rag and dvesh. Swa and per no bhed will reduce rag and dvesh, will reduce ajnanta. We also, since I mentioned word ajnan, so we use the word ajnan not to mean that, hey, this person studied only till 10th grade or only till 12th grade. They didn't go graduate. A ajnan nathi.
Right.
Ajnan is what?
Not knowing myself, not knowing Atma.
Because Gyan is the Gyan of self. We should, when it comes to this thing, when it comes to dharam, when it comes to reality, Gyan is the knowledge of myself. And we can use it loosely in other context. There is a very marmic story of Arya Rakshit Maharaj Sahib. He was, his father was a Hindu and his mother was a Jain. So he went and he studied, and he studied all the Vedas and Upanishads, and he came back and like was considered to be very knowledgeable because it was very rare in those days. So it's almost like in modern days, maybe you can consider he was like double PhD or triple PhD. So he came back home after studying for several years, and everybody, they had like a ceremony in his honor, but he did not see his mom there. So એમને નવાઈ લાગી કે everybody in the town is congratulating me except for my mom. So then when he went home, he asked mom ke શું થયું, like, are you not happy that I have learned so much? So she threw a bouncer at him, said, "Kill, I will be happy when you learn drashtivad." So amazing છે કે એવી પણ માતાઓ શાસનમાં હતી, અને હમણાં પણ we see some rare examples. So drashtivad is basically the 12th agam, which also contains the 14 purvas. So drashtivad ભણવું હોય તો you have to take diksha.
પણ હમણાં તો દ્રષ્ટિવાદ તો વિચ્છેદ થઈ ગયું છે ને?
હા, એટલે હમણાંની mothers cannot tell their son કે આ દ્રષ્ટિવાદ ભણી લે.
ના, હમણાંની
But they can say કે
mother
બીજા 11 આગમ ભણીશ. Yeah.
નોટ ફોર મધર, બટ દ્રષ્ટિવાદ તો વિચ્છેદ પામેલું છે ને?
એટલે right, પૂર્વના કઈક અંશો છે, પણ yeah, as a whole દ્રષ્ટિવાદ is we started losing પૂર્વ, like એ પણ connected with જે આપણે અહમ કીધું. સ્થુલીભદ્રજી, who was amazing Mahatma, brilliant Mahatma, but even સમયનો પ્રભાવ એમને પણ નથી છોડ્યા. And when he was studying the Chaud Purva from Bhadrabhahu Swami, he got the thought of using his knowledge to impress his sisters. And therefore, then we lost 4 Purvas there. So Imne, Bhadrabhahu Swami only taught him till 10 Purvas. So then he could pass that knowledge to his Shishya only up to 10 Purvas. And then as time became worse and worse, we started losing more and more of the Purvas. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Haribhadra Suri na સમયમાં સુધી 1 પૂર્વ જેટલું knowledge હતું. હમણાં એ પણ એના કંઈક અંશો છે, પણ we don't have like one complete પૂર્વ. But going back, the good news for us is that the knowledge that is available is more than sufficient, much, much more than what we need to make our darshan samyak, to make our jnana samyak. So James Param Yashmara Sahib jokingly says, one youth was telling him that he has hatred for Jambu Swami. Okay, came. Okay. કે જંબુ સ્વામી ગયા અને પછી એમને મોક્ષના દરવાજા પર તાળું મારી દીધું. Jambu Swami was the last person to get Keval Jnana and therefore go to moksha. અને we metaphorically say કે એના પછી, એમના પછી મોક્ષના દરવાજા બંધ થઈ ગયા. So hopefully, I'm sure none of us here would use that excuse, but we did actually come across one person who was like, hey, why should I do dharam, because we can't go to moksha. So હજુ પણ એવા નમૂનાઓ મળે છે.
ઘણા મળશે.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, basically જેને excuse જોઈએ, they can get a lot of excuses. એનો કાર્ડ નહીં પાક્યો હોય એમને પછી એવું થોટ્સ આવે છે. તો આ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ પોઈન્ટ હતું, એટલે I thought I would take this. કે જ્ઞાન ગુણનો કામ ભેદ પાડવાનું છે. દર્શન ગુણનો હા પછી એ કીધું આપણે રાઈટ કે વન દર્શન ગુણમાં બેઝિકલી સવી જીવ છે સિદ્ધ સમ, તો એ અનુભૂતિના લેવલ પર, અથવા ઓલું ગાંધીજી જે તુલસી નરસિંહ મહેતાનું જે હતું એ
અખિલ બ્રહ્માંડમાં એક હતું શ્રીહરિ.
ના ના જેમાં બધાને હું નહીં એ જે ગાંધીજી જે ભજન કરતા વૈષ્ણવજન તો તેને કહીએ એમાં આઈ થિંક આવે છે.
જેને કહીએ જે
ના એ તો પીઠ પર પણ એમાં આઈ થિંક દેર ઇઝ વન લાઇન which says that અને શ્રીમદજીનો જે છે રે આત્મતારો શીઘ્ર એને ઓળખો પરમાત્મામાં સમદ્રષ્ટિ દો.
એ વચન હૃદય લો.
હા થોટ એમાં પણ એવું રેફરન્સ આવે છે કે બધાને સમાન પરમાત્માની જેમ જોવાનું.
પેલામાં જે તમે કહો છો ને સમદ્રષ્ટિ ને તૃષ્ણા ત્યાગી.
હા થેન્ક યુ. I thought the word comes there. Yeah.
આજે if I'm allowed to just say for 2 minutes, આજે જે ત્રૈલોક્ય મંડન મહારાજ સાહેબે જ્ઞાન પદનું જે પ્રવચન લીધું એમાં એમણે ખૂબ એમ્ફેસાઇઝ કર્યું કે આપણે જિનાલયો તો હવે એવા થઈ ગયા છે કે જ્યાં કોઈ મૂર્તિ અપૂજ રહેતી નથી અને બધું જિનેશ્વર ભગવાનનું સચવાય છે, પણ કે જ્ઞાનાલયો આપણે નથી બનાવતા. તો એમણે કચ્છમાં કોડાઈ, આઈ થિંક માંડવીની પાસે, આઈ લુક્ડ ઇટ અપ લિટલ બિટ, કોડાઈ કરીને કોઈ ગામ છે કે ત્યાં આગળ somebody has built just like Derasar, but when you go inside there is no જિનેશ્વર પરમાત્માની મૂર્તિ, ઇન્સ્ટેડ ત્યાં આગળ શ્રુત જ્ઞાન પધરાવેલું છે બધું. અને ટુડે he said that the need of the time is like for us કે આપણે જ્ઞાનનો પ્રચાર નથી કરતા. એક દાખલો એમણે આપ્યો મહોપાધ્યાયજી મહારાજનો કે એમના સમયમાં તો કંઈ ઝીરોક્સ નહોતું ને આવું કંઈ ફોટોકોપી મીન્સ સ્કેનિંગ નહોતું. સો વન ગ્રંથ he needed to have it and study. So Brahman wouldn't give it to him. So when Brahman went out of town for 15 days, he tried to borrow that granth. And him and his 6 shishyas, they wrote word to word. એટલે કેવું કે 15 days માટે they did ઉપવાસ even. They didn't even waste time to eat or drink or anything. અને એટલું બધું જ્ઞાનનું ઇમ્પોર્ટન્સ મહોપાધ્યાયજીનું કીધું, આ કોડાઈ ગામનું કીધું. અને ત્રીજું એમણે ખાસ એમ્ફેસાઇઝ કર્યું કે whoever you come into contact, rather than બીજી ગિફ્ટ આપવા કરતાં જ્ઞાનનું કોઈ ઉપકરણ you should gift. That's a good idea. અને આજે તમારી બુક્સ આવી.
We implemented that same thing. પણ એમાં એ જ પ્રશ્ન થાય છે કે લાઈક અને we can see it, I mean આમાં તો ઠીક છે પણ even ટેમ્પલમાં પણ whenever they call scholars, hardly anybody is interested. ચંપકભાઈ, શ્રેણિકભાઈ, when I talk to them, they say that બધે યુએસમાં હવે થઈ ગયું છે. So a kind of એવું થઈ ગયું છે in the sense કે very few people are interested. So even in the bigger songs, they say that we get like 10 people, 15 people.
અમારો સંઘ આટલો મોટો છે એવું જ થાય. અને હવે તો પેલા તો સવાર સાંજ બંને વખત હતી આ સ્વાધ્યાય, હવે તો સાંજે એક જ વાર. અને if we are 15, we are lucky sometimes. I mean, we have like almost 700 family members.
So I don't know about other Sangh, but I do feel sad for Columbus Sangh because we know, I mean, it's kind of very ironical that before we had this temple, like Dhajawado temple, there was more interest in Gyan. We used to have a lot more swadhyayas because the pujans were very limited. Right? We used to have weekly Sunday, Sunday pujan, but still used to get good interest. And in fact, those were the years I'm talking, temple was built in 2013, so, yeah, 12 or 13, 12. And so before that, those were the years when we were able to call even Girish Bhai locally here from LA multiple 2 or 3 times a year and have like 3 days of Swadhyay. So it was pretty good at that time. But khabar nahi mane why over time that interest has gone. But in general, we can see that very few people. So that I don't know. Maybe you can ask Trilokya Mandan Maharaj Sahib, what is the. I think one problem that I see is that the parents usually don't encourage, right? But the encouragement, it even started, I would say, from my generation, and it's becoming even worse. Okay, the whole emphasis is on career building. So getting that kind of knowledge, getting that kind of gnan, which will help in the career, but not our dharam no gnan.
True. આજે તો he also suggested કે મહાત્માઓને પણ તમે like 4 months when they are in ચાતુર્માસ કે we have no problem whichever sung we are in they support our Gyan sadhana. But other 8 months ke we are struggling કે you should like always sponsor such એટલે આપણે પ્રતિષ્ઠા અને જીનેશ્વર ભગવાનના દેરાસર ને એ બધું કરાવીએ એ સારું જ છે પણ then જ્ઞાન should be emphasized more, otherwise next generation will really miss out.
Yeah.
પેલો એક
Even in fact, like Mahatma Mapan, I would say to some extent that it's true. Like when we were reading the other book, Parbhavna Parihar, so Pan it felt in between the lines એમને લખ્યું હતું કે like Corona વખતે when everything else was at a halt, then the Vachanas were at peak. But otherwise, એમનો પણ સમય પ્રતિષ્ઠામાં અને ઉદ્યાનમાં અને છરીપાલિત સંઘમાં ને એમાં એટલું બધું જાય છે.
આજે I was talking to Shalibhadrabhai, somehow Sharmilabenની વાત નીકળી એમાંથી. Sharmilaben, most of you know, she's my sister-in-law. Shalibhadrabhai said Muktidarshan Suri Maharaj Sahib in his lifetime he did only one pratishtha, and that is because of Sharmilaben's insistence ke Sahibji pratishtha karao. He never did any pratisthas, no ubdhans, no navanus, no. He never believed in all this, આપણે જે પ્રવૃત્તિ ધર્મ કહીએ ને, એટલે I mean, I don't know if it's the right word or not, but he was not for those things. Against તો ના કહેવાય, but he was not for those things.
No, બરાબર છે. Yeah, he was. I mean, and he was a unique, very unique in that sense.
Right.
Like,
Really revolutionary.
it's hard because you get a lot of pressure. And એમને તો like Acharya
Yeah.
Padvi, he did not want it.
Yes,
But
true.
then he got
True.
pressurized and he kind of then had to say yes. But even after that, he did not, like you said, because generally Acharya is the one who can then do the pratishtha and
Correct. But I didn't know this, that he did only one pratishtha in his complete Diksha Paryay. I did not know that.
કોઈ અનુષ્ઠાન નહોતા કરાવતા આવી રીતે.
એમને બધા વ્યાખ્યાન હમણાં સાંભળીએ તો એમાં ઓપનલી કહેતા હતા ને કે મને કોઈ અનુષ્ઠાન કરાવવાનું કહેતા નહીં.
Right. And he used to negotiate.
વ્યાખ્યાન આપી દીધું, પતી ગયું.
બસ he used to negotiate before he would enter for ચાતુર્માસ કે હું 1 કલાક વ્યાખ્યાન આપીશ, બહુ તો સાધુ સાધ્વીની વાચના. Other than that 22 hours are mine, અને એમાં પછી વારંવાર બધા ડિસ્ટર્બ પણ નહીં કરવાનું. He was a unique Mahatma.
Right.
For sure.
Yes.
Other thing is he didn't care કે ભાઈ લોકોને કેવું લાગશે ને.
No.
Oh yeah. તો પાલિતાણામાં જે પેલા સંમેલન થતા હતા ને, he never used to go. બધા આચાર્ય ભગવાન જુદા જુદા ગચ્છના હોય, he never participated. પણ anyway, આજે આમનું જે ત્રૈલોક્યવર્ણન સાહેબનું વ્યાખ્યાન આખું એટલું બધું he has emphasized on જ્ઞાન, અને for all of us કે તમે લાઈક બુક સ્ટોરમાં જ પેલું બુક ફેર હોય તો કે યુ વુડ ફાઇન્ડ ભગવદ્ ગીતાના 50 લાઈક ડિફરન્ટ વર્ઝન્સ કે બાઇબલનું ને આ તે કે તમને એક પણ જગ્યાએ એક પણ જૈન બુક નહીં મળે. અને હી ટોલ્ડ પીપલ કે તમારે ઇન્વેસ્ટ કરવો જોઈએ તમારો ટાઈમ એન્ડ મની બોથ, અને યુ શુડ ઓપન such kind of you should participate in book fairs.
The thing, Artiman, who will read those books? That's another.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing.
કોઈ વાંચવા જ તૈયાર નથી. હવે ફોન ને મોબાઈલ લઈને જ બેઠા હોય છે બધા. એટલે it's just hardly anyone picks up a book.
You're right, નેહાબેન. પણ આજે એમનો એમ્ફેસાઇઝ એવો હતો કે એકલા જૈનને તમે ના એમ કે જૈનને આપે એવું
બીજાને
નહીં.
તો બરાબર છે. પણ ઇવન ઇન જૈન્સ આઈ એમ સેઇંગ કે રીડિંગ બહુ જ ઓછા કરતા હોય છે.
કરેક્ટ. You're right.
લાઇબ્રેરીમાં અહીંયા અમારે દેરાસરમાં લાઇબ્રેરીમાં books, like nobody touches those books. They've been there for so many years, just like that, unopened.
True. Very true. Very sad,
Yeah.
but very true.
પહેલા હતું થોડું, હવે તો now with things available on YouTube અને એ જે recordings આવે છે વાંચનાની, તો I would say even
I'm also guilty of that.
less.
Me too.
સાંભળવાનું વધારે થાય છે.
હા, સાચી વાત છે. બાય ધ વે, તમે જે આ ચોપડી મોકલી આત્મજ્ઞાન, ઇટ્સ અ વેરી નાઇસ બુક. I glance through. સરસ છે.
We try to send only good stuff.
True.
So
સરસ.
so bus, I think that's what the main goal of Gyan is not કે આપણે જ્ઞાનની કરીએ. Some people do that. જ્ઞાન પંચમી ઉજવીએ અને ખમાશમણા આપીએ અને દોહા બોડીએ અને એ પણ અનુષ્ઠાન કરીએ. પણ how to use જ્ઞાન to purify ourselves. તો જ્ઞાનથી દર્શનની શુદ્ધિ કરવી છે.
He did emphasize on કંઠસ્થ અમુક થવું જોઈએ, અને એમને માટે પેથરશાનો દાખલો આપેલો કે 544 or some ગાથાસ that he needed to memorize. I mean, the ગુરુજી એમને આદેશ આપ્યો કે તમારે આ કરવાનું જ છે, અને જે દિવસે જે ગાથા ન મેમોરાઇઝ થાય તો તમારે આયંબિલ કરવાનું. અને હાઉ then he memorized all of the ગાથાસ. એટલે અમુક વસ્તુઓ આપણે પણ નથી કરતા હોતા. I mean, દર જ્ઞાન પંચમી I would take a નિયમ કે હા મારે થોડું તો કંઠસ્થ કરવું જ છે. નેક્સ્ટ જ્ઞાન પંચમી આવે અને I haven't done it.
That was a tradition before. So again, my 2 cents is ke કંઠસ્થ was good because then એ કંઠસ્થને વારંવાર કરીને you can એને હૃદયસ્થ કરી શકીએ. તો હવે આપણા માટે like because આપણી ટેવ એવી નથી, and most of us are बहुत गई थोड़ी रही જેવા સ્ટેટમાં છીએ. તો for us it's more like how એને ભાવિત કેવી રીતે કરી શકીએ જ્ઞાનને. that I think is more important now. કે એના સંસ્કાર ભાવિત કરવાથી એના સંસ્કાર પડશે. So કંઠસ્થ was just a intermediate state કે એના પછી ભાવિત રહી શકે. Because when you are કંઠસ્થ કરીએ તો then you are always carrying it with you, so it's easily accessible. So હવે આપણા ફોન પર we have everything in some sense accessible. So I would say કે I mean જે પદ્ધતિથી હજુ મહાત્મા કરે છે તો I mean if people can do it તો well great. પણ emphasis I would say is on the, અને જે શરૂઆતમાં what I said કે we don't want to be necessarily આપણે મને આટલી બધી ગાથા આવે છે કે like I can do પંચપ્રતિ કમન કે કર્મ ગ્રંથો કે એ બધું હવે that is not as important. પાંડિત્ય knowledge is not as important, but જે સ્પર્શ જ્ઞાન જે છે, જે આ જ્ઞાનસરમાં પણ જે જ્ઞાનનો અષ્ટક છે એમાં સ્પર્શ જ્ઞાન પર ભાર મૂક્યું છે. 24મો પૂજ્યપાદજીનો જે સ્થવન છે એમાં પણ એમને જે જ્ઞાન આપણને ભાવિત કરે એ that's what we want. તો એ તો એ મંગલ ભાવનાથી આપણે અહીં સ્ટોપ કરીએ. જેને અગ્નિવ્રત કઈ કહ્યું હતું મિચ્છામિ દુક્કડમ. સર્વમંગલ માંગલ્યમ સર્વકલ્યાણકારમ પ્રધાનમ સર્વધર્મ ચેનમ ચેતી શાસનમ 3 વખત. We have 2 more days, Samyak Charitra and Samyak Tap. If anybody has any other ideas, બીજું જે પણ અત્યાર સુધી કવર કર્યું એમાં કઈ ક્લેરિફિકેશન જોઈએ, અથવા if you think of something that we did not touch upon, because our main goal was to understand Samyak Darshan better. Neha mentioned a little bit about the Aunt Drashti yesterday. So jo ema interest hoy to we can take a little bit of that. Only thing is with the weekdays it will be in a day I will have to spend some time to brush up. So I cannot promise, but if there is interest I can try.
હમણાં ગિરીશભાઈ નો એનો સ્વાધ્યાય ચાલે છે એવરી મંડે યોગ દ્રષ્ટિ સમુચ્ચાય પર.
Right. આજે મુખ્ય સંશોરી મહારાજ સાહેબ એ 3 books લખી, 3 ભાગમાં
રાઈટ એના પર
યોગ દ્રષ્ટિના અજવાળા.
હા
તો એ પણ just like Arthiben said, કે જ્ઞાન પંચમી તો મને પણ at least 3 કે 4 વાર I got the ભાવ જ્યારે પણ મુક્તિ સંશોરી મહારાજ સાહેબની તિથિ આવે ત્યારે કે like એમને third part of યોગ દ્રષ્ટિ અજવાળા was very very dear to him and he had given that to lot of sadhak. તો મને થાય કે at least I should go through that. અને I read few pages અને પછી પાછો something else comes and so it just happen. But maybe away with because we were able to get Shalibhadra Bhai, so maybe that's another motivation to start that. And yeah, a remarkable. In fact, I coincidentally randomly jaje only book kholi third part and it was a very good. बहुत सरस इनने लख्યું હતું. મને immediately તો I thought કે maybe I should bring it in the Swadhyay here. Maybe kadach tomorrow I can read that from the book.
Okay, that will be good.
So chalo, good night.
જય જિનેન્દ્ર. પ્રણામ.
જય જિનેન્દ્ર. પ્રણામ સર્વને. સાતામાં રહેજો સર્વ.
જય જિનેન્દ્ર.
જય જિનેન્દ્ર. પ્રણામ.